I would now like to invite Shri Vineet Nanda.
It is an honor to be invited. It is an honor to be invited to deliver a few words on this momentous event and share the stage with no less than General VK Singh, the Honorable Union Minister of State for Civil Aviation and also for Road Transport and Highways. I'm honored that Mr. Manoj Chauhan, Mr. Vijay Mehta, Sinha Sahab, Trilochan ji, and many distinguished guests, along with Lord Rami who's doing this for his great great father, I'm sorry. So, the Saheed Nanak Singh Foundation has made significant contributions in keeping the memories of a brave freedom fighter and a spirited human alive. I commend the foundation for carrying forward Shaheed's message. It's a great learning from none less than Lord Rami ji, member of House of Lords, UK. It is impressive to see Lord Rami live up to the ideas of his illustrious father. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Lord Ranger, for paying tributes to the sacrifices these freedom fighters made for the country and what they paid for our freedom, and to remind us all that India, soul of Atma, as a secular and democratic fabric, where equally for all is enshrined regardless of caste, creed and gender. Saheed Nanak Singh ji said this: India's unity and diversity are like the colors of a rainbow. If one is removed, its charm and beauty would be diminished. His message of unity is an important today, as the day he tells us why he fell while saving innocent lives. Saheed Nanak Singh ideals of religious tolerance and peaceful coexistence are imperative for a civil society. We cannot let anything divide us. Let's promote peace and celebrate unity in diversity. Jai Hind.
आज के हमारे इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य मेहमान खुसूसी माननीय मंत्री श्री वीके सिंह जी, ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ सिविल एविएशन एंड रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड हाईवेज, ऑनरेबल लॉर्ड रमी रेंजर साहब, संदीप मारवा जी, CIC श्री सिन्हा और तमाम हजरात और ख्वातीन, आप सब लोगों का इस कार्यक्रम में पहुंचने पर हार्दिक अभिनंदन, स्वागत है। आमतौर पर यह देखा गया है कि अगर किसी देश को तरक्की करनी है तो उसमें वक्त की पाबंदी बड़ी जरूरी है। हमारे जहन में एक पुरानी बात थी कि मंत्री हैं तो आमतौर पर देर से ही आएंगे, लेकिन आज हमको इस बात का एहसास हुआ कि हमारा देश जो तरक्की कर रहा है वो है समय से पहले चल के। माननीय मंत्री जी जो आज जिस तरीके से वक्त की पाबंदी के साथ आज पहुंचे और इन्होंने हम सबको अवाक रख दिया, उसके लिए ये बात साफ होती है कि कैसे हिंदुस्तान मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में तेजी से तरक्की कर रहा है और कैसे जनरल वीके सिंह जैसे जो नेता हैं, जो वक्त के पाबंद लोग हैं, वो हिंदुस्तान की तरक्की में सहभागीदार कर रहे हैं। शहीद नानक सिंह जिस दौर में राजनीति में थे, उस वक्त हिंदुस्तान और पाकिस्तान के बीच एक बंटवारा हो रहा था और उन्होंने मुल्क की एकता के लिए अपनी जान दी। अप्रैल 1947 में मुल्तान के उस स्कूल को मैं याद करता हूं जिसमें 600 बच्चों की जान बचाने के लिए उन्होंने अपना सुप्रीम सेक्रीफाइस किया। और ठीक उसी तरीके से जनरल वीके सिंह ने भी हिंदुस्तान की संप्रभुता आजादी के लिए केवल ढेर सारी लड़ाई लड़ी, बल्कि मंत्री बनने के बाद भी, चाहे वो यमन हो, चाहे दूसरे खाड़ी के देश हो और यूक्रेन हो, उन देशों में जाके हिंदुस्तान के बच्चों को, हिंदुस्तान के डायस्पोरा को और वहां पर रहने वाले अलग अलग व्यक्तियों को इन्होंने बचाने का काम किया। तो शहीद नानक सिंह मेमोरियल लेक्चर देने के लिए इनसे बेहतरीन व्यक्ति कोई नहीं हो सकता। आज शहीद नानक सिंह के विचारों की सख्त जरूरत है और जनरल वीके सिंह सरीखे महानुभाव उस काम को बखूबी कर रहे हैं। आप तमाम हजरात का यहां पहुंचने पर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you so much, sir. It's my honor and privilege to introduce to you Lord Rami Ranger CBE. Lord Ranger is a British peer and successful businessman who has been honored by Her Majesty the Queen on 8 occasions, 6 times for business and twice personally for community services, and he was made King. Lord Ranger is married to Lady Renu Ranger, who has also joined us here today, and he has 3 daughters. From a refugee camp to the House of Lords, Lord Ranger's story is a fascinating one, which is not only interesting but also inspiring. He was born 2 months after the assassination of his illustrious father, Saheed Nanak Singh Ji, who was against the breaking of India on the basis of religion. He was born in 1947 in Gujranwala town, now in Pakistan. He was only 2 months old when the family had to flee with their young mother, Harban's Kaur of just 37 years, and the 7 siblings in a refugee train going to India. Lord Rami Ranger was given admission to the modern senior secondary school in Patiala. After completion of his school education, he went to Mohindra College and then obtained his BA degree from the Government College in Chandigarh. Lord Rami Ranger ceased his studies after reaching the UK, where he had gone to study law in May 1971. He overcame prejudices to achieve success on a scale that he could have hardly imagined in his wildest dreams. He is currently running 2 companies, Sunmark Limited and Sea Air and Land Forwarding Limited, 2 of Britain's fastest growing companies, with an annual turnover in excess of £200 million. He sustains thousands of British jobs by exporting British supermarket products to over 130 countries. His companies have received prestigious Limited has received from Her Majesty the Queen's Award for Enterprise for an unprecedented 5 long years, consecutive years, from 2009 to 2013, and in the and European Export Champion in 2014. He was awarded an honorary doctorate from the University of West London in July 2016, and he supports education by helping and provides funds to make better. Please join us and deliver your speech.
I request Mr. Richard Barlow to please join us on stage. He is the head of bilateral and political relations, British High Commission.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to be here in front of you, and I'm indebted to Gen VK Singh, Union Minister for Road, Transport and Aviation. Only a general can control 3-4 departments at a time. He used to controlling many departments under him. A country or community is as great as its leader. And we are today celebrating the leadership of our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. He has not only made India a force to be reckoned with, but it's a positive force. A force which is benefiting the world, developing world. We are very privileged to have such dynamic leader, and Modi has done another remarkable thing. He has handpicked his ministry, his ministers, each one of them are an asset to Mother India. And you can see proof of the pudding is in the eating. Once upon a time, I used to go to Indian Department, Government Office. The answer used to be, "Aap kal aa jana." Aaj Mantri ji humse sabse pehle aa gaye. That just shows the change has come in India. It's a great honor for me that I have with me just some of the very important people on the dais. Sandeep Mahawadi, you don't need any introduction. The man who has put Film City in the heart of India in Delhi. Yash Sinha ji, the Information Commissioner of India. Son of illustrious General Sinha, he was the Deputy Chief of Indian Army. General Sinha was a remarkable person. I had the honor, privilege of meeting him on many occasions. General Sinha had a memory that was remarkable. He could remember everything. He delivered the second Saheed Nanak Singh Memorial lecture. It was fascinating affair listening to his life story and what he done. He remembered the partition. I think he was a captain at that time. During the partition, how he had to rescue people from fleeing for Pakistan. Mr. Chaudhary, as you know, being BJP leader, I call him the dynamo of BJP. I don't know where he gets the energy. In the morning, evening, night, I get his messages and Twitter and everything. He reignites people like me who have passed their self-by date. And as the lady told you my date I was born in 1947. There are not many 1947 models work these days. But with the grace of God, with the help of my beautiful wife, Renu, who has always supported me, given me always encouragement. You can't do it alone. Whatever I achieve today is a collective effort. Wife is the number one asset. And if you have to watch your back, you can't watch your front. You have to keep watching the Renu, looked after children, home, family, not only that, she went out to work for extra income which we use to educate our children, and they are shining also in their own field. I have remarkable staff, and some of them are here. Mr. Mohan Khurana is here, the architect of my business, who gave me some ideas. And when you get the ideas, you have to use them. Sadat Nanak Singh is an institution in himself. He is a multi-facet person. History, knowledge of history, knowledge of so many things. We learn great deal every day. Every day we learn something from God. General Sahib, you know, a remarkable person who has given me the strength for me to have this lecture. Without General Sahib, this lecture was not possible. Next, we have my younger brother, Advocate, Supreme Court, Manoj Chauhan. Then we have Maneet Nandaji. Then we have Vijay Mehtaji. He's a Consul General of Romania. Yeah. So the visa for Romania is open. And further, we have from the British High Commissioner, Mr. Richard Barlow, representing Her Majesty's government. So thank you, Mr. for taking your time. We are here to pay tribute to a great man who was a visionary. My father was a visionary. He pleaded with the then Muslim leader not to cut him off. After independence, India would be a secular, democratic country with one person, one vote. Together we'll make our destiny. Unfortunately, he was trying to save some students who had taken on a procession against the partition of India in Multan, DAV school, who got caught in communal riot. My father, being a local leader, went to save them. He managed to save the students, but he lost his life for his innocent beauty. The reason I bring this lecture is his message is become even more important than ever before, because we are now living in a global village. The world is shrinking. We have to work together, we have to live in harmony. And as my father used to say, India's diversity is like the color of a rainbow. Its charm will diminish if one is removed. So each one of us are Indian first, before we became Hindu, before we became Muslim, Christian, Sikh, Jain, Buddhist, anything. But India was first. So therefore he said, we must consider ourselves first Indian, then follow any religion for the peace of mind. The unity of India cannot be compromised because that is why today we are what we are. And those who know the history, India is a 6,000 old civilization. We were ahead in everything. You just have to see some old temple to see how this marvel of architecture took place without the lifting gear, cranes, JCB, without the grinding material. How did they make this masterpiece 2 to 3,000 years ago and they're still standing? So we were not united. Because we were not united, we paid a heavy price. And I think we should learn from our history to make our future. That at any cost, we must remain united. And only then we can progress like we are progressing. And India is not only shining in India, Indians are also shining all over the world. India is exporting doctors, solicitors, businessmen, scientists, teachers, you name it, to the world. And during COVID, we played a very crucial role with collaboration with Oxford. Those vaccines produced in India were given to poorer countries who could not afford expensive Pfizer or BioNTech. So that's how it is. IT industry is making life much easier. India is number one pharmaceutical because of India's pharmaceutical prices. Poorer country can afford it. So you have become a force for good. And I'm working very hard, looking forward to UK-India trade deal, free trade agreement. That would be the mother of all trade agreement. That will be between the number 5th and number 6th economy. And given the size of India's market, it will be a huge boost to the economies of both the countries. So, because on top of that we share each other's values. We are both secular, democratic country with rule of law at the heart of our government. So we don't have to watch our back or front when we're dealing with each other. Because our values are the same. We put human freedom at the heart of our government. We were poor after independence, but we were free. We were liberated. We had so much freedom. It only came to me when the Soviet Union collapsed. To see people in Romania, Poland, how they were suppressed. We were not suppressed. Right from the day one, we were given freedom as a fundamental right. So these are the good things we have to offer to the world. Our leader like Mahatma Gandhi, they are global icons. They not only shaped India, but they also shaped the world. As you heard, my father was assassinated before my birth. So I'm a posthumous child. But his vision is very important, and the vision is empowerment of women is a prerequisite for civil and progressive society. We were 7 brothers and 1 sister. No father, lost everything, lost our ancestral home, country, breadwinner, arrived on refugee train. Thanks to my father's reputation, we were allowed to sit on the coal tenders. We could get on the train. And the engine driver knew my father. He had read about his newspaper cutting and press. So he said, please sit on the coal tender. So you can imagine, I was 2 months old. We all came on a refugee train, all black, everybody black to refugee camp. And the remarkable mother, she was educated. And this is why I say to my fellow brothers, if a father dies prematurely like my father did, he will leave behind a woman unable to deal with this uncaring world, and mother unable to look after your children. For the sake of your children, you have to empower women. Besides empower women, what she will have experienced in life, she can impart into her children, like my mother did. Five of her son became commissioned officer in the Indian Army. The same destitute mother became the proudest Indian mother. Two of my brothers took part in Longor War battle. They're very proud of it. So I'm there, although I was rejected by the Indian Army. I wasn't going to be left behind. I said, I will do my best. So, you get, I was the youngest in the family, spoiled child. My brother was spoiling me. So when I went to United Kingdom, dawned on me that I have to create my value. I had a lot of value back home, but I have to create my value. So whatever I did it with passion. My mother used to say, son, you don't have to be clever, you have to be sincere. And because of those sincerity, whichever job I did, whatever I did, those principles she gave me stood the test. It's the values, believe you me. Money does not make money. Money does not make money. People make money. I didn't have a penny when I started. But at the same time, I want to thank the United Kingdom because of the British sense of tolerance, British sense of fair play, and on top of that, British values. When I got there, the value, Indian value, British values, enhanced respect for women, respect for religion, rule of law. All these are values which makes the person a better person. So I ended up getting one after the other. One of my mother used to say, son, money even a smuggler will have, but you need to make sure you have respect for your father. My father's statue is in Amritsar, so people go there and when they drive past. He died for a good cause. So this is today we say, if we have to stay a very strong country, our unity must come. If we are not united, we will never be strong as we are today. And there are lots of enemies of India. Lots of people who envy. You don't pity on a beggar. If you see a beggar, you don't feel pity. You don't feel envious of a beggar, you feel pity. Similarly, the rise of India will attract lots of people who will envy India's rising. They will try to divide people, fight people, create things within a society or people with it. So we have a challenge. Each one of you are an ambassador of India. Each one of you have to do your own bit to make sure that we leave a good, better country for our next generation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for giving your valuable time to give time to that person who was only 44 years old when he was killed for a good cause, which is we are celebrating that we must learn, that we must remain united, and as we are a diverse country, we have more religion, more culture, languages, we have to stay united. So on that way, Jai Hind.
Before the keynote address, I would like to request the Honorable CIC to please speak briefly.
General Dr. VK Singh ji, Rami Ranger, Sardar Talochan Singh ji, Shri Vijay Jolly ji, all the esteemed guests on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, I hadn't come here to speak, I had come here to pay my respects to Saheed Nanak Singh ji, but also by WhatsApp messages and clips and videos where he very vigorously defends India's position, an Indian at heart. And I think we are all very happy here to pay our homage to Saheed Nanak Singh Ji, who again built up his whole empire, if I could call it that way, his business empire, and at the same time done a lot of Sikh association, a lot of functions that he did there in the UK. And I recall a particular event that we did, Baisakhi, about 30,000 people attended. So it was something that we collaborated very often in doing events, done a great deal for India. If I remember correctly, the last figures I heard, and I left London 4.5 years ago, was 1.8 million Indian GDP. That indeed is a fantastic contribution. And I think, as the Honourable Prime Minister had once described when he visited his landmark visit to the UK in 2015, further strengthening bilateral relations. And I would also like to mention that how delighted I am to see the Honourable Minister here. He was my minister when I was serving. I think we're all very happy to be here to pay, in our own way, our homage to a great man, Saheed Nanak Singh Ji. I'd like to thank the organizers for this function.
Thank you. Unique privilege to introduce General Dr. Vijay Kumar Singh. General Singh was inducted into the United States Army War College, class of 2001 graduate, International Fellows Hall of first Indian Armed Forces officer to be inducted. General Singh joined the Bharatiya Janata Party on the 1st of March 2014 and successfully contested the Lok Sabha election. As Minister of State for External Affairs, General Singh has represented India at several bilateral and multilateral events, as well as special assignments like Operation Rahat, Yemen, which was led by Indian and 960 foreign nationals of 41 countries, including USA, from the war zone. Presently, he is the Minister of State for Road India. Sir's courage and conviction, his highly acclaimed autobiography has been widely read in India. I take this special moment to the keynote address. General VK Singh, please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome our speakers.
It's a privilege to be here to deliver the keynote address on the occasion of Saheed Nanak Singh Ji. Let me acknowledge all who are sitting on the dais today with us. We have Lord Rami Ranger. I'll also acknowledge Lady Renu Ranger. Ravinder Singh Shiran, who's Chairman Saheed Nanak Singh Trust. We have Excellency Richard Paula, the British High Commissioner. Sardar Trilochan Singh Ji, Shri VK Singh. We have Sandeep Marwa, Shri Vijay Jolly, Manoj Chauhan, Vineet Nanda, and Vijay Mehta, and all the distinguished who are sitting here. May I request you all to observe 1 minute's silence for Saheed Nanak Singh. Please sit, ladies and gentlemen. When you try to find out more about Saheed Nanak Singh Ji, what strikes you is that here was a man who was not only looking at India in the eyes of what probably we are looking today as a nation which is secular in all respects. And when I say secular, I always bring in the standards of the army in it. 42 years spent in the army, so I suppose I'll keep injecting the army at times to only emphasize the point. And why I say army, because in army, in one tent, we can have all the religions. A small little tent, we can have the church, we can have the temple, we can have the gurdwara, we can have the mosque. Whatever is there in the unit, it is all in one tent. It is the army in which we do not look at caste groupings. We look at what is on your shoulder, which denotes that particular regiment. And that is why I am a firm believer that Indian Army, whether it works in India or abroad, it is always able to achieve what is given to it. Saheed Nanak Singh ji, born in 1903, died a very young person. In fact, he died while saving the students who were going on to agitate that India should not get divided. And he had full conviction that India should not get divided on religious lines. He had an excellent career as a police officer, and again it was his conviction that he has to do the right, that despite a brilliant career with many gold commendations, he was shifted to Dera Ghazi Khan as a punishment posting. And this speaks volumes of a person for not only his conviction, but to carry that conviction forward. And that is what impresses one most when you read anything about Saheed Nanak Singh. And let me also add to it, I am a firm believer that adversities make a man. Adversities toughen you. Adversities make you more resilient. And if we look at the family today, if Lord Rami Ranger has done what he has achieved today, along with all other siblings of his, it is because of what he inherited from his father. What he inherited in terms of the conviction to achieve the best and to stick to that conviction. And that's the contribution that one can look at the life led by Saheed Nanak Singh. It's often said that history is written by the hunter, not by the hunted. And that is why when you read why India got divided, there are many things which now you can look back and say they were right or wrong. I don't know how many of you have read The City of Gold and Silver, a book about Lucknow of the period around 1857, couple of years before and couple of years after. And one thing which becomes very clear in this book is that in 1857, all communities, and I'm emphasizing that, all communities fought as one. There was no difference. And that is what led the East India Company of that time to, after they had won with the help of again our own people, that India can only be controlled if it remains divided. And then started a great amount of effort that was made to ensure that we remain divided. We still carry those vestiges, unfortunately. This division occurred on religion, this division occurred on caste, this division occurred on subgroupings of caste. There was no end to it. Because the fear was that if they become united, it will be difficult to control them and it will be difficult to carry on with what the empire wanted. And the colonial masters, when they realized that things were becoming bad, they came up with this great thing to say, okay, let's dump or divide and rule, let's call it divide and run, divide and let's go back. This nation which will be divided will carry on fighting amongst themselves and we will come in handy whenever we want to. That's the part of history, and earlier we realized it, the better it is. Because you only become strong if you are together. And that is one lesson that we should draw from the life of Saheed Nanak Singh. Remain united, do not get divided, whether it is religion or any other thing that is thrown at you. Therefore, it is something that we need to introspect in ourselves. Why is it that we do get divided? Why is it that there are some institutions which never get divided? Why is it that people make use of these divisions so that they can rule over us? Whether it is today's era or it was what happened earlier. Like I said, we are carrying those vestiges somewhere or the other. We are carrying those remnants in us as to what has happened and what can be done to keep the country under control. A country which is so diverse that even if you were to take the whole of Europe, you won't find that kind of diversity. Every 100 kilometers, your dialect changes, languages change, the way the language is written, that changes, the cultural differences, the differences in what we wear, the differences in what we eat, the differences of whom we pray to. The differences are tremendous. And in this, we just have to look at our ancient history of what we had achieved before the invaders and the colonizers overcome us. It is something which I'll leave it with you to think about it. When you look at Indian influence in Southeast Asia, I do want you to research and find out, did these Indians, kings and others who led maritime expeditions to Southeast Asia, did they put people to the sword? They didn't. They just won them over. And what they left with them was cultural heritage. You find Buddhism and Sanatana Dharma, which is the ancient religion, existing side by side. If you have a huge, beautiful temple of Angkor Wat in Cambodia, you also have Buddhist influence in Cambodia. Same is in Vietnam. You look at the languages. Same is in Malaya. It was, and our maritime expertise was so much that people from Odisha could go and make a settlement and a country in Sri Lanka. This is something to think about. We, as a country in the earlier times, never did what the modernity has done in terms of how many people lost their lives. And the worst, of course, has been the partition of India, unfortunately. We do talk of the plight plight of Jews, but none talks of the plight of people who migrated during that period. None talks of the type of mayhem that was prevalent at that time. Something which was avoidable. Something that would have not created the type of divisions, the type of differences, and the type of bitterness that still exists. It is for us, if we actually want to carry the legacy of Saheed Nanak Singh Ji forward, to analyze these few things so that we can make a better world today. Today, it is in our interest to ensure that our heritage, our culture, our thoughts of the ancient period are utilized to make things better for the modern world and for our future. One doesn't want to go back in times, but one must use if something was good and use it for the betterment of what is today. And today, there are a number of opportunities. If so many people from our diaspora are doing extremely well in UK or USA or Europe and many other countries, it is their sheer diligence, it is their sheer commitment to professionalism. And that is what counts. I don't think we can find any professional Indian to be lesser than anybody else with whom he works. And that is what our strength is. And I would seriously suggest that that is one thing which was visible very well in Saheed Nanak Singh. He is professional to the core because he did not accept what was wrong. He did not accept, even as a police officer, when ordered to open fire, that he should open fire on people who were unarmed and who were not at fault. It was his professionalism. So that is something which must strike us, and I think our meeting on the occasion of remembering him would be incomplete if we do not draw these lessons and take them forward. Let me also bring in a little bit of religion into it, and I talk of Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru. What did he do? He tried to unite India against the invaders. Who were the Panch Pyaras? Look at the history of those Panch Pyaras. They are from 5 different corners of India, 5 different places. He got them together so that he would bring unity in the community to fight against the invaders of that time. And to give them an identity which is very important, whether it is a nation or an individual. He gave them certain set of rules and certain set of codes so that they could be recognized, they could join together and they could fight against the invaders. And lastly, he said, after me there is no Guru, there is only Guru Granth Sahib. What is there, you understand it, apply it in the times that you grow up, utilize it as your guide. So he left a world in India which in true sense was all encompassing, it was inclusive to the last word. So that is something which we need to re-look at, re-understand and imbibe in us those values. I'm not going to say that you change your religion, lest I be accused of that, but what I would say is keep your minds open. There's so much of good in India that if we imbibe even one bit of it, I think we'll become better persons, better Indians, better professionals, and people who probably would walk the talk just like Saheed Nanak Singh did. I thank Lord Rami for he met me, and I think I was probably looking rather skeptic when he opened this issue of a keynote address, because I was not so very familiar with Saheed Nanak Singh. I had heard the name, because when you read about the partition and other period, the name does come up. And then he left a book with me. I read it. I read it a couple of times, because in one go, one reading only gives you a certain idea. It is when you read a couple of times that it actually sinks in what the person was. And I think I'm very privileged to be here, to be talking to you all and telling you that we as Indians can achieve what we want to, provided we follow the only thing of not getting divided. We lost everything when we got divided. Let's unite, let's forge forward, let's all combine together, and it is the combination of these 1.4 billion people that will take us wherever we want to go. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, General VK Singh ji, for your awe-inspiring words and your nuanced understanding that you've displayed in delivering the Saheed Nanak Singh Memorial Lecture today. The Saheed Nanak Singh Foundation honors those who honor India with the Soul of India Award, which is now being presented to General Dr. VK Singh ji, Honorable Minister of State for Roads and Transport and Highways and Minister of State for Civil Aviation. The award is being presented by Lord Rami Ranger CBE. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, as the award Soul of India is being conferred on General VK Singh ji.
Now I would like to request Honorable Rami Ranger Sahab to please honor all our dignitaries on the dais with a token of appreciation.
This token of appreciation is the Indian seal, as is visible to all of you, and it is sponsored by the foundation, by Saheed Nanak Singh Foundation. Please put your hands together as the token of appreciation and gratitude is being given to all our dignitaries. The hall must resound with the sound of claps, ladies and gentlemen. This is a moment that all our dignitaries are going to cherish as they receive
As I have been informed by the Honorable Minister's office that Honorable Minister has to leave a bit early to discharge a national duty, so he wants to leave early. I think we will see him off. Thank you very much, sir.
Please don't forget to subscribe our channel and also click the bell icon to get the latest updates.